All right, welcome everybody to the AMA with, actually, you'll have to forgive me, Bobbie, I don't want to mess up your last name. It's Bobbie Weiner, is that right? Or
Weiner. Weiner.
Weiner, Bobbie Weiner, okay. I didn't want to be rude, so I always ask. So you guys may know her as AKA Bloody Mary. Just before we get started with the AMA, I've got a few quick plugs. This is brought to you by the Haunt Nation on Facebook. Check it out, and it's all the discussion, none of the spam. We're doing our best to make sure that it's not bogged down like all the other haunt groups. Also brought to you by Return of the Living Podcast and Haunt Nation Magazine, as well as Crooked Creation Masks, which if you ask a question tonight on the Facebook event, we are giving away one of their masks to somebody that asks a question, so check that out as well. But we'll get to it here. I'm going to pull up our first few questions. Looks like we got a bunch of people asking for the link, so I'll skim through that. All right, so we'll get to it. This is our, we'll start with something simple. This question comes from Marine Hall, on Facebook, and she asks, Bobbie, if you were not in the makeup industry, what do you think that you would be doing today?
Wow. What would I be doing today? I think today I would be doing what I started. What?
Sorry, my phone went off. I forgot to turn it off. I apologize.
Okay. Yeah, if I wasn't in the makeup today, I probably would be. I would have a thrift shop, secondhand store, like a gigantic thrift shop, which I did when I was in college. I started my first business, and that was a gigantic thrift shop, secondhand store. Loved it, and had it for 16 years until I decided to move to Los Angeles. And it was really successful, and I loved it, had fun. And I would go back to doing that because I really like that.
Awesome. All right. Well, there you go, Maureen. So got a passion for thrift shops. I dig it. So our next question comes from Lee Drake, and he asks, what is the toughest miracle job that you've had to pull off? I guess he means any kind of, like, have you ever had to do something on the wire? What was the craziest in the hot seat job you've had to pull off?
The first thing that comes to mind is I did a TV show long time ago, the beginning of my career as a makeup artist. It was called Renegade, and they asked me at the very last second. They decided they wanted to kill somebody off, and we were on the set in a diner on location, and I just basically had to lay over the table in the diner, and just kill the person. That comes to mind. The very first thing that I just had to pull that. I had like 20 seconds to do it, to kill the person, make him look like he was dead.
Awesome. So that seems like an interesting time for sure. I do have to mention, I was actually a big fan of Renegade when I was a kid. It was like me and my mom used to watch that show together. So I had to mention that. I was going to ask you about it.
Yeah, that was my first TV show. That was my first full, 8-month gig, like 8 months of work. Oh wow, that was heaven. And they were the nicest people. I love that show. They were great. Still friendly. Talk with the hair person. The hair and makeup were together. You're usually with the hair person, and in the same trailer. And she was wonderful.
Good to hear. Awesome. So we've got quite a few here. I'm going to move on. We've got our next question. Actually, we've got 3 questions, so we'll do them one at a time. These are from one of our admins, Kristen Worf. And her first question is, would you mind giving us a quick overview of the consulting opportunities that Bloody Mary has to offer?
Yeah, they're really, it's a very popular program we started. Oh, it must be like 4 or 5 years ago. And the whole idea is that you can pick whatever you want to sell. It's kind of like, you get together with a bunch of friends and you could pick, you could do a zombie night, you could do a vampire night, you could do, a mummy night, and everybody gets a makeup kit. You pick and choose whatever you want to, basically do. And, you follow your passion, do your favorite thing, whatever favorite show is out there at presently. And it's really simple. It's a minimal fee, and you get a big discount on our products, and that's it. It's a one-time fee. There's no, you don't have to do it every year. It's not a yearly thing. And we have a form that we can send her. All she has to do is email me, and we'll, our office will get out a form, and that's it. And you're a consultant. It's really easy.
All right, awesome. What's the website that they can reach you at for that while we're talking about it?
Well, she could email me at info@dearbloodymary.com. That's info @dearbloodymary.com. And our website is the bloodymarymakeup.com, to keep it real simple.
Okay, excellent. And then Kristen's next question is, if you could only do one character makeup for the rest of your life, what kind of character would you enjoy doing?
I'd probably, let me think. There's a couple I like. I love doing a mummy. I do like an undead mummy, the undead wrapped mummy. We have a full kit of it also. I love that. It doesn't look like a accident victim. It's really just a wonderful thing. It's easy, and it's just a fun thing. And what I've found is that no matter what you do, I've done makeup workshops with up to 400 people, and 200 people work on a model. It gives us, 400 in a room, and they come in pairs, and everybody looks different. They always get the same exact makeup, but everybody looks different. And that's so incredible, because everybody's face is different, the bone structure, whatever, eyes, mouth, nose. And, but I love the mummy. I love a wonderful accident victim, road rage kind of accident, fell off a motorcycle, got beat up, and, is on the run. And that's a fun thing to do. It's really hard to pick just one, because I like doing a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah, I don't think those ever just pick one of these things for the rest of your life questions are ever very easy.
Yeah, not really.
But her next question is, what are the common biggest pet peeves you have when looking at special effects makeups? Are there any common things that makeup artists do that just bug you?
They use too much makeup, too much blood. A lot of people think if you take a half a gallon of blood and you pour it on somebody's head, it's going to look, awesome. And it really just looks like you poured a half a gallon of blood on somebody's head. Less is more. The less you use, the better off you are. And people will sell you. It's just like shopping in some of these department stores. They just want to sell you products. They just want to sell you stuff. And you don't need a lot of stuff. People think you need a lot of stuff, but you don't. You really don't. You need like maybe 5 or 6 things at the most if you're doing, pure makeup on somebody, whether you're making them look good or bad, or, like they're rotted out. You don't need a lot. You really don't.
Yeah, that's something that I always thought was annoying myself. Especially working at haunted houses, you always see those kids that have just so much black on, they look like they have raccoon eyes.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
So.
It's crazy. But that's the way it is, So, and I've worked in so many haunted houses, and, as a guest makeup artist, and I see some of the people do their own makeup, and it's something you could do in like 7 or 8 minutes, and it takes them an hour, because they just keep piling the same stuff on and on. And yeah, that's just something that it's not necessary, and it's uncomfortable, all that stuff.
All right, so we've got another question here from another one of our admins, actually, Gary Berger. He asks, who gave you your start in the makeup industry?
I went to makeup school around 22 years ago, it's going on 23 years. And I always, I wrote a book about it. Mark Burnett did a TV show about it. The guy that does, The Apprentice and the show, what is it called, The Survivor and stuff. And he did a show about me, about makeup and how I got into makeup, and it's so crazy. But basically, I gave myself my start in it. It was just something. Somebody mentioned you should go to makeup school. I was starting my life over, and I wasn't a kid. I was 46 years old, and I had to get a job. I had to actually, work again. And it was, oh God, am I going to open up a thrift shop again? Or, and somebody told me once, you don't go back and try to create something you did, 25 years ago. And it takes a while to, become successful, whatever. It takes a lot of work. We make our own luck, I feel, in many, many aspects. But somebody suggested I go to makeup school. And that was it. I was desperate. I needed something to do immediately. And, I needed to know where my future was going. And I they told me the 3 best makeup schools that they felt in the country and outside of the country. And I chose Joe Blasko. It was here. It was in Hollywood. And that's it. I called. I went. Boom. 2 days later, I was in makeup school. That was it.
Awesome. So good time. So you said Joe Blasko. Does he have one? You're in Florida, right? So he had one in Florida and in Hollywood?
In Hollywood. Yeah, in Hollywood, California. He has one in Orlando. And I went to the one in Hollywood. And it was the best thing I ever did. It was just a whole new world, a whole new, today, you never know where you're going to end up. You never know where you're going in your life. And it's something that I would have never imagined in a million years. Today, I spent most of the day just making scab blood. I make my own, we have vats, we have tremendous vats of, making, blood making machinery. But I'm very particular about my scab blood and certain things. I am a hands-on person. I have to do it myself. And everybody kind of gets a kick out of it at my place and in California where my factories are. But I enjoy it. I love what I do. I just love what I do. And is there anything? All right. Did I answer that okay?
Yeah, you did fine. So, and then Gary had another question. He asks, what's your opinion on shows like shows on Sci-Fi Channel like Face Off? Do you think those shows are helping or hurting the special effects industry?
I love I adore those shows. The very first show they were going to have when they were casting it, getting makeup artists, they asked me to be a judge on the first show. Then they called me back, and I can't, I just couldn't because I run a business, I run my company. And then the second show they asked me to be a participant. And of course you have to give up a certain amount of time, and I just can't do it. And then they asked me again for the third show to be a judge. And I just, unfortunately, I can't do it. But I think they're the greatest thing that ever happened to our industry. And I think that a lot of people, sometimes you can oversaturate something, and a lot of people want to be makeup artists, and a lot of people want to be, work in the movies, work in television, and it's a tough field. It's very competitive. I mean, it is major competitive, but I think those shows, I think they're great. I think it's marvelous.
Awesome. So I'm a fan. So I'm glad you answered that way, or else I'd feel guilty for watching them. Next question comes from Micah Carwin, and he asks, have you ever created a design that actually kind of startled you or scared you yourself? Have you ever been scared of one of your own designs?
I've never been scared of anything I do because it's, it's like I can work on a film, I can watch a film. I can work on a film and work on the characters. And then when it's put all together and it's edited and you watch it, that creeps me out. Titanic creeped me out when I saw the dead people actually floating and the music. And that night I went to bed and I woke up and I felt like I was drowning. Oh, it was awful. when I did Pumpkinhead, for instance, but Pumpkinhead 2, which was my first film I ever did. And I never even heard of the Pumpkinhead film. I didn't hear it. I had never heard of anything, any of this, these horror films or cult, films. And the old lady in the film, that, I was next to her practically, all day long. And she was just nice. She couldn't talk. I mean, she had so much stuff on her face, and that creeped me out. That really creeped me out when, I saw her on the screen. But when I did Pumpkinhead 2, was it Pumpkinhead 2? No, it was another film I did when there was a snake. They always bring in this big snake, and it takes like 4 guys to carry it on the set. And I had to walk out of, when I read a script and I see that there's going to be, this gigantic snake that they always use, I always bring somebody in as an assistant who likes snakes, because I don't like snakes, and I leave. But that was a creepy film. I think that one was called Voodoo. I think it went right to video, but when the girl kisses the guy and they're in bed and the snake's in bed with them, she goes to kiss her boyfriend and her tongue becomes a snake, and that just grist me. That was the creepiest scene in the world. If anybody's ever seen that, that's one of the creepiest scenes you'll ever see. And I'm pretty sure the film was called Voodoo.
All right, I'll have to check that out, guys. Everybody that's watching, check it out. Look up Voodoo. But we've got another question here. I hope I don't butcher his last name. This one's from John Pascarella. John Pascarella. He wants to know, why do you think that Hollywood is redoing all the old horror movies, like Nightmare on Elm Street? Do you think they're just out of ideas? And what are your thoughts on them redoing all these old movies?
Well, I think once again, it's kind of like the oldies but goodies. If they were popular and maybe there's a lull there, there's some great films that come out especially now, like in September, and Eli Roth, I mean, he's amazing. I just think that it's, people want to see them. They want to see them. I mean, I love Vincent Price. I thought he was the greatest. And the first film I ever saw was The House of Wax. When I was 8 years old, my father took me to see that. So now I'm really aging myself. But, a film like that, they did remakes of that. But there's really nothing like the original. That's my opinion. But I love the old black and white horror films. They were the greatest.
All right, excellent. So our next question comes from my friend Bradley Allen Bamforth, and he wants to know, Bobbie, I want to know, what has been the biggest surprise to you about working in Hollywood?
The biggest surprise about working in Hollywood? Let me see. I think part of it is how nice some of the people are, where when you read the newspapers and the magazines, or you watch, it's hearsay, but there's some really wonderful people I've worked with that when you read certain magazines and it puts them down and it says how difficult they are, and nothing surprises me anymore. But I've worked with some of the nicest people in the world that get the worst raps, if you know what I mean, and that's sad. I think that's kind of sad, but that's the way it is.
All right, and then our next question is from Heather Rowland. She wants to know where you'll be hosting seminars after the haunted house season is over. I would love to attend one if you are close to the Raleigh area.
Wow, I wonder where she lives. I don't know what part of the town she lives.
I think it's Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina.
I'm just taking a stab.
I'll be next week. I'll be in Champlain. I'll be in Chicago, and then I'm doing something in Orlando, Spooky Empire. I think it's called Spooky Empire. I'll be out there doing a big workshop in Orlando. I'll be in Chicago. I'll be working in Florida the end of the month which is, I guess, in a couple, the very end of the month, I'll be doing something here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, something locally. And the best thing is to actually put, to go on my website, because we always post where I'm going to be, what I'm doing. If for some reason, I like to do a lot of fundraising, I like to give back, I like to do charity. If somebody wants to do a big workshop in their area, some type of, Bloody Mary, how to, whatever, it's not just a Halloween thing, it's all year round. Some kind of conference, I'd be happy to work with them. Hand in hand, do a hands-on thing and make money for a good charity, a good squeaky clean charity. I like to do that. And there is talk right now of opening a Bloody Mary makeup school, an actual FX makeup school, which I would be running. I'd be, the head of it. I'm not going to have other people run it and work, do it. I would actually do it myself. And we're looking into doing that right now. It would probably be within the next year or two.
Well, that would be awesome. Yeah. So we'll look forward, keep our eyes out for that. Our next question comes from Tammy Reese Kane. She wants to know, Bobbie, what is your favorite thrift shop find? I guess
my
she means
favorite thrift shop find?
Yes.
Wow. Let me see. Oh, so many. Oh, I think the best thing was my Jurassic Park watch. I found in the original Jurassic Park watch in a cigar box in a thrift shop when you check out, and it was right here in Florida, right here in Fort Lauderdale, and I paid 50 cents for it, and it's my very favorite watch. I love it.
Awesome. Great deal. That's not 50 cents. Is that what you said it would cost?
Yeah, that's what I paid. It was 50. It was just laying in a box full of, necklaces and, just a bunch of kind of junky jewelry. And there it was, this plastic watch, and all the little pieces were floating in the face of the watch, in water. It's the greatest. I love it. And it keeps good time when there's a battery in it.
Awesome.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, there I am. Can you hear me?
There you are. What'd I miss?
Oh, nothing. I was just rambling on for a second, but we'll move on to the next question. Sorry about that, guys. So I've got another question from Lee Drake. He asks, have you ever had a job that you thought was going to look horrible, but when you were finished with the job, you were surprised at how it turned out?
I can't think of anything really like that. I'm pretty positive. I go into everything really positive, not negative, and I think that has a lot to do with why I just go forward. I've never had that problem. No, I hate to say it, but I just can't think of any situation that I've been in that and I've been thrown into some pretty crazy situations. No, I've been lucky.
All right, excellent. And then I've got kind of a personal question here. For me, it's what's like the most fun or your favorite project you've worked on since you've been doing special effects and makeup? You don't have to pick just one. You can name a couple if you like. I'm just curious what you've had the most fun working on.
Yeah, I think when I worked with Johnny Cash, I love working with him. That was amazing. Just to meet him, be part of his group for, his whole gang there for a couple weeks, and that really stands out in my mind. He was wonderful.
That's awesome. So what did you do with Johnny Cash? Like, was it like a music video or? No,
it was he was acting. He was an actor on Renegade. He was one of the guests, and I was his makeup artist. And I was, I did Lorenzo Lamas's makeup, but I would do the guests also when they would come, and he was just wonderful. Danny Trio was another one that just out of this world, special kind of guy. He's one of a kind, just a wonderful, terrific guy. And I'd say those two. There are so many different people I've worked with, but Johnny Cash he's right up there.
Awesome. So I didn't even know. I guess I missed that episode. I thought I'd seen them all, but apparently I hadn't.
Yeah, it was great.
That's awesome. So let's see. Looking to make sure I haven't missed anybody's questions here. Going back through the list one last time. Oh, here we go. Here's one that I didn't ask earlier. This one is from Sharon Dowdy on Facebook, and she asks, what keeps you inspired to create new and edgy makeups?
You know what? I don't look at anybody else's makeup. I really don't. I absolutely watch people come up with, right on my coattails after I come up with something, and it happens all the time, and it's a very competitive field. But I just come up with ideas, especially different kinds of blood that I make. I came up with another idea for a blood. And we made black blood a couple years ago. I look at somebody I'm working on, and I feel what would make that person look better or different. And then thank God I'm able to make the product. I can try it. I can test it. I can put it out on, my website, because we make our own, I have my own lab, so I make my own products. I can make one thing. I don't have to make 100,000 of something and then pray and hope that it's going to sell. I can, that's what has been so wonderful about making everything in this country, in the United States, having my own factories here, having my own labs here, right from the beginning when I started the company in a garage in San Diego and Pacific Beach, and not even really knowing how to make makeup. And I just looked and said there was a lack of, this or that, or certain types of products that I used while I was doing makeup and when I was doing the Titanic, and it was just right down the spirit gum. Anybody that's a makeup artist knows that yellow stuff, that spirit gum, and then you got to have spirit gum remover, and then you got to have this and that, and it's kind of there's got to be something that we could make that's something good. And I test everything on myself. I test everything right down to my zombie makeup that doesn't have 1 ounce of latex in it. I just test everything on myself, and I've done some real horror makeup on myself, and it scares me. I fall asleep. It's late at night. I go to sleep. I wake up in the middle of the night. I go into the bathroom, and then I scare myself because I'm still wearing the makeup to see what's going to happen on my face, And I love doing what I do. It just shows you, find something you love to do and do it, and you'll be happy for the rest of your life.
Awesome and sound advice. That's all the questions we have, except for one last real statement from Maureen Hall. And she says, happy birthday, because tomorrow is your birthday. So
Thank you.
Yeah, so happy birthday, Bobbie, and thanks for taking some time out of your day to do this for us. That's all the questions we have.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it. And if anybody, like I said, has any questions, and there's no dumb questions, don't ever think, whatever you have to ask, just ask away. And they can email me, they can go to my website, and I'm always available.
All right, excellent. And then one more time before I let you go, can you plug your website again?
Yeah, it's they could go to dearbloodymary.com or bloodymarymakeup.com, and they could also email me at info@dearbloodymary.com or BW.
Excellent. So
Yeah, it's all on our website. They'll see all the information.
Okay, excellent, and we'll put that in the comments below the video as well on YouTube, so you can check out Bobbie. Go to dearbloodyMary.com, and thanks so much for checking out the AMA, guys. We'll have another one next month. It's been a fun time. Check out the Haunt Nation on Facebook for more of these, and thanks for joining us, and you guys have a good night. Take care.
Okay, thank you.